Hello, this is Tanner from the Pioneer Library Systems of MakerMobile. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create a design using Inkscape. Inkscape is an open source vector editor which can be downloaded onto your computer for free. If you don't already have Inkscape downloaded onto your computer, you can click on the link below to watch the How to Download Inkscape video. Now, what are we doing with the design we're creating? For the first 20 participants to send their designs into me via email, I will laser engrave their design onto a wooden door hanger. Here are some examples of the laser engraved door hangers. You could create a design that shows that you need some quiet time while working, or you could make a design to remember which room is yours. Possibilities are endless. With Inkscape opened up, let's get started. Here in the middle, you see a rectangle. That's our workspace. It looks pretty small, but it's actually about 8.5 by 11 inches. We need to change that. To do that, we'll go up to the left-hand corner and click on File, and then down to Document Properties, and left-click there. You'll see a Document Properties window pop up. And in that window, we're going to change display units from millimeters to inches, and units from millimeters to inches. In here, we can change, or in the width, we can change that 8.2 something to 3.5 inches, and we can change that height to 5 inches. Okay, now we can X out of the window. All right, and we see that a rectangle has become a little bit smaller. To make that workspace larger so we can actually work on it, we're going to press 5 on the keyboard. And now we are going to add text to our design. That'll be the first thing we'll add to our design. To do that, we'll go to this bold A down here. We'll click on that, and then we'll come over to the workspace, and we'll click into the workspace. Okay, and then you'll type in anything that you'd like. I'm going to type in Tanner's room. Okay, now your text might be a little small, or it might be too big, so we're going to go ahead and change the size of our text. To do that, we're going to go to this black arrow tool right here. It's called the selector tool, and we'll click on there. Now we'll notice that some arrows have formed around our text. If we grab one of these arrows on the outside, you'll notice that we can change the size now, but you can also see that we might potentially warp our text. To make sure that we don't do that, we're going to change something up here, this lock. But before we hit that lock, we need to undo what we did. To do that, on the keyboard, if you hit the Control key and the Z key at the same time, it will undo. And anytime you mess up something, you can press Control Z and it will undo it. Okay, so back up to that lock. Like I said before, we're going to click on that lock, and now you'll notice that we're not warping our proportions. Okay, and also with the arrow key selected, you can move your text, but now we want to maybe change the font on our text. So to do that, we'll have to go back down to the text tool, and then we'll click in this font box. When it's selected, you can click the up and down arrows on your keyboard, and that will change your fonts. So now I don't like how spaced out my words are right here, so I'm going to change that. If we go over here in this box where it says 1.25, we can change the spacing of this text. If you click the negative sign, the text will come closer together. If you click the positive sign, they'll go further away. That looks good to me. I also want to center my text. To do that, we're going to scooch over to this box, the text alignment box, and we'll click on it and then choose the center option. That looks good to me. Now, let's add an image to our design. To do that, we'll go over to Google. On your computer, go to google.com. And from there, we'll go to Images. And in the search bar, type in what you would like to put into your design. I'm going to search for a dinosaur. Now, these images look awesome, but they're pretty complicated for what we're doing. So let's filter these images to find some images that will work with our laser. We're going to go to Tools, Type, and Line Drawing. These are some nice, simple black and white line drawings that will work great for our designs. I like this one, so I'll click on this one. I'm going to right click and copy image. Now back in Inkscape, I'm going to right click and paste that image. As you can see, my image is a little too big, so let's go to the magnifying glass. Click on that, and there's a plus and minus button up here. If you click on the minus button, it will zoom out. Let's keep on zooming. Okay. And going to shrink the dinosaur down until I can get it to fit into my workspace. Oh, a little too big still. Keep on shrinking down. Okay. And we'll press the number 5 on our keyboard. And that'll zoom us back into our workspace. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is turn our image into a vector image. To do that, we're going to go to Path and Trace Bitmap. And when you're doing this, always make sure that your image is selected. If it's not selected, then the Trace Bitmap will not work. So make sure that you click on your image and it's selected, and you can always tell that it's selected by the dotted box around it and the arrows coming out of it. Okay, I'm just going to simply press OK on here. That made a trace of our image. I'm going to drag that trace off our original image. And let me just zoom in to show you what we actually did. I'm zooming. Let me move. Oops, too much zooming. Oh, hit number 5, and I go back to where I need to go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so with our original image, we can see that's blurry, and we can only make it so big, and it will only get blurrier. But with a vector image, it's nice and smooth, and I can make this image as big or small as I want, and it will retain that smoothness. So I'm going to go back up to my select tool so I can select my old image and delete it by pressing the delete key on my keyboard. Going to press 5 again to get back to my workspace. Exit out of the Trace Bitmap box. And there we go. Going to show you a few more ways you can modify your image here real quick. If you have your image selected, you can go up here, and if you want to rotate your image, you can rotate it. If you want to flip your image, you can flip it. And if you right-click your image, you can go over here to copy, and then you can right-click again and paste. So now you have a couple of images, and maybe you flip one. There we go. Okay, maybe something like that. When you're satisfied with your design, you can go ahead and save it. Go to File, Save As, and save it under whatever name you want to save it under. I'm going to put mine under Tanner's Design. Going to save that. And whenever you're ready, you can send me your design via email at MakerMobile@pioneerlibrarysystem.org. And if you have any questions or need any help while you're doing your project, you can also email me at this email. Thanks for watching the video, and I'm looking forward to seeing your designs.